Morning, guys. 4 a.m. I'm on my way to work. With the kids and soccer. My daughter's soccer party last night. Didn't have time to do this, but immediately when I woke up this morning, I was like, dude, I gotta get whatever moisture there is sitting in my oil pan. I should have pulled my plug yesterday and allowed everything to drain out. The other case too is I don't want to leave my plug undone all day because I don't oxygen getting whatever moisture might be in there, chilling like that. You guys can write in the comments. I went online and I was looking at stuff. Of course, it's no bueno, but I really don't want to allow it to just sit in there either. I can't wait to get whatever line that I have hooked up to my intake manifold. I've been thinking about it all night. Then I'm pretty sure one of the lines that originally went to the B16 head, because there was a small coolant line that went to the head that came down from down below. I don't know if it's one that's cooling my donut that I have on my oil filter connection point, because I took one of those water cooling oil filter donuts off of a Del Sol B16 and stuck it on mine to keep the engine, to keep the oil cooler. Yeah, and you guys can see freaking how much moisture got in the oil. Anybody want some shake? Anyway, hope you guys have a good day. Don't beat yourself up if you make a wrong turn. Just, adapt, figure it out, overcome. Be good. Be good to yourself. Real quick before I take off to work, I think I'm gonna pour some more oil in this beast and let it get more of that moisture out. I've got my lower grade oil here. Let's use that. Dumping full synthetic in there. Wash out the block. Get all the poop out of there, please. I'll probably have to pour another quart through there. It's gonna have to be after work. Well, I thought I had the camera on. If I didn't, I put another quart in of some lower grade just to flow the contaminated residue and oil out of the block, and I'm probably gonna put another quart in too after work just to try and get all the contaminants out, and I'll change the filter too. Alright guys, here we are after work, same day, and probably gonna pour another quart of my cheaper oil through this engine to wash some more of that contaminant out, and I'm gonna trace and find the line that I have hooked up improperly that's shooting coolant. Let's do it. Alright, quart number 2 to flush the system. Yeah, clear oil and no milkshake. That's that good old Chevron Supreme, getting out the good old Skunk2 on the cheaps. Alright, starting to look a lot cleaner, so we'll go ahead and let that come all the way out and trace this line down. Alright, first line we're going to check is the one that I have going into the intake manifold from the idle control valve. I was under the impression that that particular port was the vacuum port, so I'm going to take that line off and check, because there should still be coolant in that line if coolant is flowing through that line and into the intake manifold port. So let's see, smell the Yeah, it didn't come with any instructions on how to hook up the idle control valve and port it to the intake manifold. It was just, here you go. Here's the runners, here's the plenum, here's some hardware, thermal gasket, and have a nice day. I just, went online, tried to do a little research, thought that I was close, and I think I am on hooking up the idle control valve because it looked like it had a vacuum and a coolant line going to it and another line. And pretty sure that I was good because the two lines that looked like they were next to each other, that were one was vacuum, one was coolant. I looked at a little further and it looked like there was a little bit of oxidation on both of them that is typical when you're talking about coolant running through in a system for a period of time. You kind of see that when you take your coolant lines off of any plumbing hookups on your cylinder head and whatnot. So I was like, oh wait, hold up. It had been a minute since I had taken the idle control valve off of the other head and remembered where the lines were going, so I may have put a chance on whether or not I had it hooked up to the correct location. We'll see here in a sec. Now, if I can get this off. The gaskets that come out with this thing are just, I don't know, paper gaskets. There's not much to them. I think that they went pretty cheap on that gasket. For as much as this Ultra Race manifold is, you'd think that the gasket would be thermal for the plenum to runner hookup. I mean, they're just brittle coming right out of the box. They're just like, it's like you don't even want to breathe on them. They'll just like poof, disintegrate. Looks like I'm playing.
So many questions. I just don't know.
Lend my scale free, the frails is Jersey real, touch the sky. The dew he surely will, legs of mine. Unearthly, heard deep thrill, devil's cry. On board he on me, still luck of high. I'm caught up early, meal is my sign. Sugar spice, nothing nice. A calm aren't we raging, devils on me. Steel blast from arms, unreal eyeballs mover. Killer screwer, the big king giant. The fear like him, a piece of pie. A light I try, the blast aside. An awful way we die, ain't the end for me.
Not sure what we missed. I went ahead and dried off the gaskets, dried off the plenum expansion, and now dry off the inside of this plenum and possibly these runners. Now, it looks like I'm getting coolant through. Yo, Skunk2, send the instructions, yeah? But yeah, I should have taken a picture of my lines, traced the lines, wrote a diagram, my own personal diagram, and saved it for when I got to the point of hooking it up on this intake manifold. I'm gonna have to do some more research because I am so confused. I'm gonna go online for that, figure it out, and I'll be back with y'all.
Oh, I really need to time this thing. My timing's off for sure.
Upon further review of kind of how I have this idle control valve hooked up in relation to teeing off of the valve assembly purge control solenoid, which I'm believing it's kind of like a PCV valve. You guys can write in the comments if that's a good assumption or not. I'm not sure, but so I unplugged all the injectors so it doesn't fire up. I still need to wipe the coolant that is still lingering in the rails out before I do this. And this should be the vacuum port for the idle control valve right here. Probably gonna debottle or something like that in case coolant does come through it, that I can catch it, as well as the tube that I have coming from the valve assembly purge control solenoid, which now I don't have it teed into the breather box that I had running to the catch can. We'll have canisters on all three of these and hopes to collect some sort of coolant tracking this, coming up with a solution. Okay guys, so on my investigation, looking through the manual and going online and looking at blow-ups, it looks like the idle control valve, it appears to be hooked up correctly. So I mean, I still have a plan B if for some reason I'm still having an issue with coolant. and then take everything back apart, take that line out, and plug that port up on the idle control valve, and then plug everything back in so that the idle control valve isn't having that one line that has coolant hooked up to it, but it'll have two other coolant lines on the bottom. See, I don't know if, I'm assuming that's the import to coolant on the back of the idle control valve, and then the two lines coming out on the bottom of the idle control valve is the exit back to the coolant runner on the back of the block. So I got some plans, I got some options, and if I'm still having an issue after that, then hands in the air, like you just don't care. I'm not sure what I'll be able to do then, but I'll figure something out. That's what we do. So I'm gonna get to it. Alright, so I'll get this barb off and plug that up with one of the plugs that came with the kit. Heck, now I'm wondering if they sent those out in the kit, because here's a bag that came with the kit. I might have to get a bolt or something, find a bolt that'll fit in there and plug it up. Alright, let's see what size this thing is. That's bueno right there. There it is, square plug. Be nice to get the Allen one that matches it. Oh shoot. Ooh, it's looking promising. That's about all we need for that. We already got the line that I had teed taken out from the breather box to the valve assembly pressure control solenoid that is down there. Let's make sure it's plugged in. It's still plugged in. So close to the male end on this, the water jacket hookup. Alright, well, everything's plugged up but just the vacuum to the idle control valve, which should not be having an issue unless the idle control valve is compromised on the Skunk2 Ultra Race mounting plate and is sucking coolant in from the plate. So this thing's, I bolted this thing down real snug. Maybe I'll check it real quick. There was no instructions on it. Followed my intuition and what? Yeah, see that? I got that plate sandwiched on it and followed some stuff on the internet in threads on how to hook this thing up. Alright, we got the plenum on, we got all the fasteners tight. I'm plugging things in. I noticed that looks like this lowered valve cover fastener here, if you saw me in earlier videos when I was putting this in, these fasteners that came with the kit are real sketchy at best. Like if you try and go to torque, they can just separate, the top can separate right off of the thread. Anyway, I saw a little bit of a trail here on the front of the head, and I'm thinking definitely that is because of lack of pressure on that corner. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't get that to go down a little bit better. I didn't like the way that they were expanding out from the finish cap, so the lower cap. But it is what it is, you know. So okay, that's down more. Hopefully that makes that little trail there not happen anymore. Usually that's something that I see from the VTEC solenoid, and I'm not seeing anything.
Alright guys, it started to load up like it did before, and I can smell it. That's as far as I want to run it. Oh yeah, she got soaked. So that, dude, I'm super confused with that. It's still having the issue.
Way deep sex, the meaning of life. You try hard despite my own raw sewage, my hard pressed.
Deleting the coolant portion that goes into the idle control valve, because we've seen in the diagram that the lower two barbs on the idle control valve go to coolant. Let's see if I can find that diagram again. Alright, we got the diagram here again. Both of the lower barbs go to coolant. Now, this left side of the idle control valve goes to the intake manifold. That's nothing but vacuum. The right side goes into a reservoir that goes into the throttle body, and yeah, I assume that that was coming from a water jacket as well, so I could be wrong. Both of those could be vacuum. So the one that I was gonna delete, I'll just delete it, because that connection that they have on the idle control valve mounting plate, it's huge. It's like a 1/2 inch. If it was a vacuum, supposed to be a vacuum hookup, I don't see why that would be so big. And trying to convert that to a vacuum line is just huge, like 1/2 inch down to 1/4 or something, and then have that go to the plenum, which it already has one of them going to the plenum already. I suppose I'll just delete it like I had on the other motor, the other setup. Alright guys, shout out to DC Crutch. See him on YouTube. Finally I got to see a shot of what the idle control valve looks like underneath the Ultra Race Skunk2 manifold, and this came with the kit, and I just was like, oh, what is this, some extra little, you know, air breather filter that I could use on something, whatever, I don't know, because there's no instructions that came with the kit. And I see when he flipped it over that 1/2 inch barb on the idle control mounting plate, this connects to and just breathes air from outside the intake manifold. And so of course, yeah, since I had no instructions, I thought, well, the thread I saw on Honda Tech, it looked like the guy had a coolant line hooked up to it that was wrapped with some sort of insulation or something like that. So I mean, put two and two together, my brain thought, oh, okay, I'll just tap into one of my core lines that looks the same exact size and get it in there. So no, that's not the case. I need to attach this to it, so nothing but air is running through that part of the idle control valve, and we should be Gucci. So I'm going to do that. Alright guys, I'm so excited to finally have this issue solved after watching that video, DC Crush. It's going to be 2 coolant lines to the bottom of the idle control valve, you see there, and then on the other side you've got one line is vacuum, which is the skinnier one here, that goes to the plenum, and then this bigger connection spot right here on the idle control valve Skunk2 mounting plate is for the breather filter right here, which I will throw on there. I don't know if I got everything done. We may be starting this thing up today. Oh my gosh. Since the epic fail, dude, it's been a while, a couple months. Ah!
Here comes the sun, baby. Here comes the sun. It's alright. Alright. Looks like it's gonna be a beautiful day.
Come on, Faga. Captain Struggle! You gotta get up out of your bubble one of those mornings. Oil all drained out, we got the filter changed. Time to put in the good full synthetic that's going to stay in the motor, all 5 quarts. Good. And I don't have that big coolant line going off this big barb on the back here. It wasn't supposed to have a coolant line. And it causing all kinds of issues and struggles with getting it mounted. All right guys, so got the plenum back together. Idle control valve is hooked up properly. Thank you DC Crush. And got the oil in, got all the sensors hooked up correct. Let's see, I think I had my distributor about right there for start, because we about to start. Alright, baby. She's running. But we got a check on, so not sure which one it is. Alright, well, we got it running. We don't have an issue with coolant. I got to check, but I got to get my laptop recharged, because it's been just sitting in the car for a minute while I've been working. So we'll get that thing charged up and see what that check is. Yeah.